Morning YouTube. What I'm showing you right now are some game calls. Some are finished, some aren't. About, it's probably been 5 or 6 years ago I was making a lot of these game calls and selling them. I haven't made one in probably, it's been over 5 years. Just thought I'd show some to you because I wanted to try to make some today. Make one for you today. These first two on the left are made out of cherry. It's a cherry burl. I always thought that in there was really pretty. It's got a Coca-Cola mouthpiece on it. The other one's all cherry. Those are brass rings that I put on there to keep them from splitting when you put the mouthpiece in. Of course, that one there's all one piece and just for decoration. This is one that I glass bead blasted to give it a satin look, and that one there hadn't been bead blasted. The rest of them, those three there, are all bead blasted. That one there, I cut it on the table saw and glued in pieces to make kind of a design around it. This one here has the same design, but the colors of the wood are not as dramatically different, I guess you'd say. That one is maple, and has red padauk and a blackwood mouthpiece. That one there is all red padauk and I believe it was Coca-Cola. This one here has got a lot of time in it. See the checkering I put on it? Same kind of checkering that's on a gun. Just trying to make a fancy one. And I haven't bead blasted the brass yet. I never finished it because I wasn't happy with the checkering. Those three over there are made out of sassafras. And I have a vacuum chamber that I made. Draws a vacuum in it, and I'd put them in a can with RIT dye, and those are all dyed. They look blue. They might be green. I can't remember. I tried different colors to see what kind of effect it would have. But with my new job I got, it just doesn't seem like I have time to do any of this stuff. So last couple weeks ago I went deer hunting. Didn't see any deer, but I did see a red fox. And I thought that I'd just come in here and make a new call for luck, and to show you how I did it. If you have a little wood lathe, they're easy to make. So I'll take you over to my little wood lathe and show you how I set it up. Right here's a piece of cherry burl that I'd cut square on my table saw, and it kind of looks shiny because I had it in that vacuum chamber, and I put wood hardener in it and drew a vacuum on it to draw that wood hardener into the burl to make it a little bit more solid. I drilled a hole in it the size that I wanted for the sound to come out of, and then I've got a 1/4 inch hole in this end. That's for the reed and the reed holder. I've made several different types of things to hold the calls. Here's one right here. This is I cut a Morse taper on this end. It's a #1 Morse taper, and then I threaded it This is for a larger call, or one that I was going to put a different type of mouthpiece in it, like this one was. That way it's got the same size hole going all the way through the call, and then you turn down the mouthpiece to fit in that hole. And let's see, here's one I made. I was going to start trying to make some deer calls, deer grunt tubes. And this one here I would mount in the 4-jaw chuck on this little wood lathe. And then it had different shelves here for the different diameter holes in the call, and then you'd slide this down and hold them, because the grunt call is kind of long. And then these are just spacers to make up the difference in the length. This end would go in the, I've got a live center on this little lathe, and this end here goes in the the 4-jaw chuck for this lathe. It just screws on right here. Plus I had different little ways of turn down little wooden plugs. A bunch of them down in here, just to go in the ends of the calls. Hold them. I was trying to make some crow calls, and this is the ones that went excuse me, went in the ends of the crow call. I haven't used this thing in a long time. Here's a box of large brass bands to go on the calls. I imagine this in here is, oops, got smaller ones. Yeah. These are a little bit smaller diameter brass rings that I had cut, all ready to go on calls. Let's zoom in here. That's the one I got ready to go. Haven't done this in a long time. Still feels sharp. You use the gouge, which is shaped like that, to start with. Okay, I see the problem. I haven't tightened the nut up on here yet. That's why the tool stopped the piece of wood in there. Let me tighten this all up and get back with you. Okay, let's see if it works this time. Okay, you can see it's starting to round off the corners, and with this burl I want to be real careful because it would split. But one thing that I've got is I got a lot of distance between here and the wood, so it's time to make an adjustment. You don't want to have a whole lot of space in between there, and always give it a spin to make sure you're not going to hit. Your tool could get caught and go down in there and go flying across the shop. So you want to make sure you keep that there. We got it round. There's a nice little pretty red spot. We've got some chips in here. That's why I made this end the 1/4 inch end, because I got to turn that down smaller for the mouthpiece. Now we just have to kind of decide what kind of shape we want. I was over there looking at the calls just to get an idea, because it's been a while. Switching to a smaller gouge. Now we're going real small. I'm not going to put a brass band on this one. Normally what I like in a call is a place where you can wrap your hand on it like this and hold it while you're blowing on the call, and a groove in here where you can put a lanyard and put it around your neck so you can have it hanging around your neck. So all this basically is just decoration and a nice mouthpiece to put your mouth on to blow the call. I'll take this off. Let me get some sandpaper.